Hey everybody, I am not in Fort Lauderdale for the Fall League meeting, even though I was credentialed to cover it. I'm actually, to be candid, I'm um, made a doctor's appointment. I need to find out what's happening with me. Uh, so, and I haven't seen the doctor in a couple of years, so I got to take care of that. Uh, and I think well, my body has let me know that it's time to do that yet again. Okay, so I am right now. There's supposed to be a press conference by the competition committee that's coming up on the NFL Network. So visually, for copyright reasons, I can't show you it, but um, we can together listen to what will be said there and make some comments along the way, right? Because obviously, many people are concerned about um, the seemingly dramatic impact of the referees all of a sudden going back to, hey Raider Gans, how you doing? Going back to the NFC Championship game and that famous no call between the driving New Orleans Saints and the defending LA Rams, right? Uh, and last night, of course, for Monday Night Football, we had yet another occurrence of bad officiating impacting the outcome of a game. What would have happened if Trey Flowers had not been flagged twice during the same drive for exactly the same penalty? That, when you look at the replays, you find out, well, actually, if you just look at the play as it happens, he didn't do. So it's a big problem. It's an enormous problem. The Fall League meeting started at 12 noon. For the media, will go until 5. That doesn't mean that the owners will stop meeting. And the meetings go on for as long as they need to. And now it will resume tomorrow at 8:30 and go from 8:30 in the morning to 12:30, and that's it. So for all practical purposes, the meeting is short. Um, it may be that because they've already met today anyway, and the time that I recited to you, the 12 to 5, that's for media. It says nothing for when the owners themselves uh, have shown up for a meeting, which could occur at 8 o'clock that morning. But the simple fact that the competition committee is holding this press conference means that uh, it generally means that there's some discussion. Here we go. There's Al about to come out here. Let me turn up the volume.
Competition committee press conference, all league meeting. We're there.
Small backdrop. Wow, they get okay. So anyway, I'll put this back. So anyway, small backdrop. So it's got this narrow backdrop there, the narrowest I've seen in a while. So let me go to get your comments up on the screen here, assuming, of course, you typed any. And Raider Gans, I hope you're able to stick around. I realize a number of people are at work, but I wanted to get this, as they say, up and at 'em, so that you can see it. So it would be, let's see, where am I at right now? Oh, also I talked about the Raiders' exciting sponsorship with San Manuel Casino, and that's quite exciting. I have to say it's quite exciting. Path-breaking. The first Indian gaming organization to be a founding partner or sponsor for an NFL stadium. That's something else. Raider Gans, it's pretty obvious the game last night was fixed. Hey, Raider Gans, let me ask you this question. Do you think that, having written that, do you think that the NFC Championship game was fixed in favor of the Rams? Okay? Just asking. Do you think, do you think that, is that right? Yeah, see, that's a problem because you have that. You have that, right? But then, but then, I mean, consider this. But then, um, we have last night's game, and we have the occurrence, the future occurrence, expected occurrence of gambling on NFL contests. Uh, so that does nothing but open up a gigantic class action lawsuit. I mean, enormous class action lawsuit um, in the future, at least the possibility of one, if this kind of officiating continues for some time, and I mean like for the next 5, 6 years, uh, God forbid the next decade, right? The next 10 years, something's got to be done about it. Without question, something has to be done about it. Now, what Al or the competition committee will say is the referee is, well, we'll find out in a moment. Rich McKay and the others will come out and let us know, and there should be a barrage of questions. I don't, given the shortness of this meeting, expect there to be a lot of media because there weren't a lot of postings for people there. Or again, says this is not shaping up good for the Raiders. Similar to how stocks are able to be shortened, games will be fixed in Raiders in Vegas. Well, absolutely, it's a bad look. I mean, no question about it. It is a bad look. However, Raider Gans, having said that, I do encourage you to read a publication put out by the University of Nevada, Las Vegas on sports gaming and gambling. What I'm going to do, the title is rather long, and I should commit the title to his precise memory. However, I have not. But okay, it's something that one should read because it's the blueprint behind which Mark Davis made the decision to move the Raiders to Las Vegas. The idea that sports gambling could be done without the kind of issues that I've raised and others have raised. UNLV, a couple of UNLV professors laid out ways this could be done. Okay. Now, having said that, I will say this: it's a theory that has not been used for the most part in actual practice, but it is a document that is 114 pages. It's extremely detailed. It goes through every process of the value chain of gambling for sports. What I mean by that, laying the bet, the sports book, how money is handled. It's very, very specific. It's not, as much as I said it's theoretical, I don't mean to imply that it's impractical. All right. What I'm saying is that it lays out a process that in total hasn't been done. But Davis decided to take the plunge and build an entire effort to move the Raiders on the basis of that document. But having said that, the other problem is this: media, for them, as you know, is really shrinking. I say it's just changing. Right again, if you go to Oakland News Now, type my search engine may be this fine grained, but type UNLV gambling and see if it takes you to a link with that. Okay, to a post with that, right? The search field at Oakland News Now is on the upper right hand corner. Not all the way up, just almost up. You'll see it's a box about yay big. All right, you try that. Okay. Right now they're talking about Kyle Allen and versus Cam Newton and what the Panthers do at quarterback. I will tell you that Cam Newton gets a different game plan from Norv Turner than Kyle Allen does. They're not asking Kyle Allen to run. Unfortunately, Cam Newton has been subjected to offensive coordinators, save for Kyle Christensen, who wanted him to run. And Kyle Christensen didn't ask him that. And that was Cam Newton's first year First year in the NFL, and he threw for over 4,000 yards. Okay? So, and then they went away from that, which to me was just crazy, all right? Absolutely crazy. Okay, here we go. We're up.
I think, you guys have seen the numbers. So I think, as Troy said, from a competitive standpoint, the numbers are, pretty good. Scoring down a little bit off of last year.
This is Rich McKay talking right now.
And yet, above.
Can you hear that?
As 2 years ago. There's no question we've got more fouls this year. That starts with those first 2 weeks of a lot of holding calls, a lot more holding calls than we had in years past. So our number of plays are slightly down, our points are slightly down over last year, but above what they were 2 years ago. I think our competitiveness is really good. We've had 51 games, I think, decided by 7 or fewer points, which is the most in NFL history, so that's a good stat. Our margin of victory is good, so we've got a lot of good trends from a number standpoint. I just think that we started with a few more penalties in those first 2 weeks, and I think that led to a few fewer plays and probably an impact on scoring. But when you look at a lot of the other factors, it's really been good. Had a lot of young quarterbacks play a lot of games and win a lot of games, probably more than we've ever had in NFL history. That's a good trend. We don't like to see some of the quarterback injuries we've seen, but otherwise, competitiveness-wise, they're good numbers.
We also talked about disqualifications. Gave them a couple examples of just where we were there and some video examples of why one and not the other.
Okay, questions for Troy and Rich? We have microphones, so just raise your hand. Ian?
And if you get getting closer to the microphones,
Yep.
okay. Thank you, sir.
What was the general summation to the room about whether reviewing past programs is working or not through a month and a half?
Rich, you want to begin?
Yeah, sure. I don't think, Ian, that we would give him a summation on whether a rule that's been in place for 6 weeks is working or not working.
He's talking about the pass interference
let the
rule.
season play out.
The new
just
one.
like in use of helmet last year, we waited till it was a new rule. We waited to the end of the year. We went back and examined all of it. We definitely looked at.
I can pause this. What he's talking about is the pass interference rule that was created as a result of the NFC Championship game. Okay, here's Rich McKay. All right.
At the officiating of it, we looked at the teaching of it, and I think we've gotten ourselves in a pretty good place. This is a brand new rule, one that our coaches are getting accustomed to, one that our players and fans are getting accustomed to, and one that the officials are getting accustomed to. So I don't think for us we did it that way. We gave them the numbers, we showed them plays, but I think we're going to reserve, and at least I always have thought it's way better to reserve judgment until the season's over. You've seen the full season, and you've got an opportunity to look at all the tape, which is what we traditionally do.
Judy?
On the PI review, though, is it being handled on the review and the way you wanted it when the rule was put in place?
When the rule is put in place, the emphasis probably in the room, back to the days of the vote, was,
The question is the pass interference rule being handled the way that the competition committee wanted?
we want to get the egregious ones and we want to get them overturned. The way the rule was written was, using our natural replay language, which says, it's got to be an obvious error, and it's got to be one that, in PI's case, it results in substantial hindrance. So I'm not going to get into how it's currently being done from New York, because I think that that's something that we're all better off doing, at least for us as a committee. We're always better off doing at the end of the year. But we did know one thing, Judy, going in, that this is the first time we've lived in the subjective world, where we're going to have a subjective review by an individual as opposed to objective, and we knew that would lead to disagreement. Didn't mean we shouldn't do it, but it did mean that we knew there was going to be disagreement, because the one thing about replay that served us well is when it's in an objective world, whether the 2 feet are in, whether the ball crossed the plane, even then we can begin to argue at times, but there is objective standards. When you get in the subjective world, we knew that would mean it would be open for discussion.
And Judy, the one thing also is we knew coming into training camp, preseason, and we were reminded that standard is a higher standard. So we have to keep reminding the coaches players that standard, that bar is higher than the normal review.
With all the uproar over what happened last night, is there a level of concern about the overall state of officiating right now? And was that at all part of the discussion inside the room today?
Well, we opened the floor up. Any questions, anything that we need to clarify? It was a late night last night. There was a pool report that I'm assuming that most have read. There was one that was clear that we support, and there was other that when you look at it, you review the play, not something that you want to see called. In particular, on the pass rush, one that you can support, but the other one clearly after you review it, you've seen some slow mos. The foul wasn't there.
Have you talked to the Lions today? You guys were out.
I haven't, but I will. I was flying in this morning, but I think Mrs. Ford is here. I'll spend some time with. I saw Rod in the room, but him and I didn't get a chance to speak individually, and I'll make sure that I talk to Bob as well.
Well, the foul that wasn't there, the foul that you said wasn't there was the second one?
Yes.
Very good.
All right, there's your
Okay,
money
so
quote
that
there,
was
from
so that's what they're showing. Unfortunately, this is where not being there becomes a bit of a handicap because Rich McKay moved off to the side, and I know that they've got a screen up that what they like to do is show the plays that are in question. In this case, I know they're showing the play from, or series of plays from last night that were in question. And let me see what, hold on a second, let me get this. They went away from Siciliano, now they're getting commentary from Charlie Casserly. Okay. But it's not clear to me that they are, but anyway, you did hear it, okay? That the competition committee reports that out of 38 times that the new pass interference rule was implemented, was called by a coach, was put in play, only four times was the call upheld, okay? And the gist is that, hey, it's too early right now. It's 6 weeks. It's too early to evaluate the success or failure of a new rule. And that's true for any rule. It just so happens this one has received a lot of attention for obvious reasons. It was born out of a play that got a ton of attention. So, that's a logical development. But I don't see them switching back unless maybe it's too bad NFL needs another network for business, because ESPN is not even paying attention to this thing at all. Well, they've got a commercial on. So, and then there's FS1 and others. Should be the Zenny 62 network. I need my own TV network. If you put this YouTube channel on television, you have me on television. You have Zenny 62 on television. Which you can do if you have a television that's enabled as such, right? Just go down there, click on YouTube, or use if you have an iPhone or a smartphone or Samsung, get a YouTube app and then sync your app with your TV, okay? If you have a smart TV, you can do that, and then next thing you know, voila, you can get YouTube on the television. I do it. So at any rate, I'm going to assume that's it. I have not seen a report from the NFL that's on the media website, so what they've presented is a handout. I'm going to have to request that they, if at all possible, post that, on the site. It'd be quite nice if they did. Okay. So, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in to watch this or talk it through with me. You have any parting comments, or let me know. I'm actually right now going to see if you do, because I didn't have the video page open. Now it's opening, so any comments that you may have made that didn't pop up in my phone screen, I can see, because sometimes that happens. Let's see here. I wanted to actually also find out from Carolina Panthers owner Dave Tepper how their quest for a Super Bowl ready stadium is coming along. Okay. All right. So here we are. Let's see. I don't see anything. It says hi chat. I don't see any comments I need to address other than, hold on a second, this being a little bit buggy. It's interesting. I don't see anything. There's a YouTube issue. Okay, interesting. At any rate, all right. Hey everybody, how you doing? What I'm doing here is show chat. Right. She says, I'm sad about the Warriors moving out of the training facility in downtown Oakland. The Warriors are not following through. Oh, here we go. Okay. Now I can see all of your comments. Little delay. All right. All these I saw from Raider Gans already. All right. She chimed in with what he wrote. The Warriors were originally supposed to keep that training facility in downtown Oakland. So maybe the idea was to have a dual area presence, Oakland and San Francisco. But I haven't heard that they're moving that to San Francisco at all. I was under the impression that they were going to keep it. She says, Chase Center is nice, similar to Golden One Center in Sacramento, another great NBA arena. Yeah, they could have done the same thing in Oakland. You know, I still go back to the time decades ago when Oakland assistant city manager Ezra Rapport wanted to build a downtown arena for the Warriors and got nowhere. So yeah. Anyway, okay. This segment's done because I wanted to focus on the Fall League Meeting Competition Committee press conference, and that's precisely what I did. Subscribe to Zenny62 for more. I'll see you.